Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be unraveling, a thread that connects history and culture and personal expression, Chinese embroidery.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, we've got like some really fascinating sources for this one that are going to, take us on this journey from these ancient dynasties all the way to the heart of the legendary Mulan.
Wow.
Get ready, for a deep dive into these vibrant fabrics and stories stitched in silk.
I'm excited.
Yeah. And to guide us, through this intricate world, we've got, as always, our expert on Chinese art and culture.
Hi. It's pretty exciting to think about how something that seems so simple, like embroidery, can hold so much depth.
Yeah.
And when we think about Chinese embroidery, it goes way beyond mere decoration. It's actually like this language that's woven into the very fabric of Chinese culture. It's like stories whispered in every stitch.
I love that. A language woven into fabric. It makes you think about how we all communicate, right? So let's go back in time a bit. Our sources mention, embroidery being practiced for centuries and evolving through dynasties like the Tang and the Song.
Yeah, yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
It's incredible how much history is actually stitched into Chinese embroidery. Just imagine.
Yeah.
During the Tang Dynasty, embroidery, it flourished as this symbol of prosperity and sophistication. They had these lavish silk robes, and they were adorned with these intricate floral motifs and mythical creatures. They were all the rage back then.
Wow, yeah.
And then, fast forward to the Song Dynasty, you see this more delicate and refined style emerging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's characterized by these subtle color gradients and intricate landscapes. It's like you're looking at a visual timeline of these evolving artistic tastes and cultural shifts.
It's amazing, how something like embroidery, which seems so delicate, can actually reflect such grand historical trends.
It is, yeah.
And to think that, this art form wasn't just for the emperors and the nobles, right?
Right.
Our sources mention that even everyday people, like Mulan, practiced embroidery. What was its significance in their lives?
Exactly. Embroidery wasn't just this elite art form. It was actually deeply intertwined with everyday life.
Yeah.
For women like Mulan, it was way more than just a pastime. It was a way to express creativity, to tell stories, and to connect with their heritage.
Mm.
Imagine these young girls learning to embroider from their mothers and grandmothers, and it was like passing down techniques and stories through generations.
Yeah, yeah.
It was this tangible link to their family history and cultural identity.
That makes me think about, like how we share family stories and traditions today, even if it's not through embroidery. It's fascinating how these like seemingly simple acts can connect us to something bigger than ourselves.
Right.
Speaking of Mulan, she's practically synonymous with Chinese embroidery.
Yeah.
What can her embroidered creations tell us about her journey?
Well, Mulan's embroidery, it's more than just beautiful needlework. It's like a visual narrative of her transformation.
Oh, okay.
Take, for example, the phoenix, which is a recurring motif in Chinese embroidery.
Okay.
It's not just a pretty bird, This is a powerful symbol that's deeply rooted in Chinese mythology.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more about this mythical phoenix.
So the phoenix, or Feng Huang in Chinese, is this legendary creature that symbolizes rebirth and renewal.
Wow.
It's said to be consumed by fire, but rises from the ashes more magnificent than before.
Wow, what a powerful image. And how does that connect to Mulan's story?
Well, think about Mulan's own journey. She leaves her life as a daughter to become a warrior, facing all these challenges and ultimately triumphing.
Mm-hmm.
The phoenix rising from the ashes becomes this beautiful metaphor for her own transformation, resilience, and the power of overcoming adversity.
That's so insightful. It's like each stitch in Mulan's embroidery is imbued with these layers of meaning. It makes you wonder what other symbols are hidden within her work, whispering secrets about her experiences and the values of her time. What else can we uncover?
Well, apart from the phoenix, another prominent theme in Mulan's embroidery is filial piety, which is a core value in Chinese culture.
Now, I've heard this term before, filial piety, but I'm not entirely sure what it means. Could you break it down for us?
Sure. Filial piety, in essence, is about respect, obedience, and care for one's parents and elders.
Oh, okay.
It's about honoring your family and ancestors, recognizing their sacrifices, and ensuring their well-being.
I see. So it's not just about obedience, but this deep sense of responsibility and gratitude towards your family.
Right.
And how does this concept manifest in Mulan's embroidery?
Well, we can see it in the motifs she chooses, the colors she uses, and even the way she stitches. For example, she might incorporate symbols like bamboo, which represents longevity and resilience, reflecting her desire for her father's health and well-being.
Right.
Or she might use specific color combinations associated with filial piety, like weaving this core value into the very fabric of her work.
It's amazing how these symbolic details elevate her embroidery beyond mere decoration. It becomes a testament to her character and the values she holds dear. It makes you think about the messages we might be conveying through our own creative expressions, even unintentionally.
Absolutely, that's a great point. And it leads us to another fascinating aspect of Mulan's embroidery, the techniques and styles she might have used.
Okay, let's dive into that. Our sources mention Suzhou, Hunan, and Beijing styles as being particularly prominent. What can you tell us about them?
Each of these styles, it represents a different region and a unique approach to embroidery, kind of like regional dialects in a language.
Oh, okay.
Imagine Suzhou embroidery, known for its exquisite detail and delicate silk threads, often depicting intricate landscapes and scenes from nature. It's almost like you're holding a miniature painted scroll in your hand.
Wow, that sounds absolutely breathtaking. What about the other styles?
Well, Hunan embroidery is bolder and more vibrant.
Okay.
It's characterized by strong, contrasting colors and geometric patterns. It often features folk motifs and stories from local traditions, giving it a more down-to-earth and playful feel.
I love how each style has its own distinct personality. What about Beijing embroidery?
Beijing embroidery carries this sense of imperial grandeur, reflecting the city's historical role as the capital.
Mm-hmm.
It often incorporates gold and silver threads, creating a rich and opulent effect. You might see intricate dragon and phoenix motifs symbolizing power and prosperity. This is the kind of embroidery that you might imagine adorning the robes of emperors and empresses.
It's incredible how each style tells a story not just about personal expression, but also about the region and the historical context in which it developed. It's like each stitch is this tiny window into a different facet of Chinese culture.
Exactly. And remember, these are just a few of the many styles that exist within Chinese embroidery. It's this vast and diverse world just waiting to be explored.
It makes you wonder what Mulan's preferences might have been, considering her upbringing and the influences around her. Perhaps her work incorporated elements from different styles, reflecting her unique journey and perspective.
That's a really intriguing thought, and it speaks to the dynamic nature of embroidery, how it allows for personal expression and innovation within this rich tradition.
It's fascinating to think about how Mulan's embroidery, this seemingly solitary and domestic craft, actually connects her to this vast network of history, culture, and artistic expression.
Absolutely. And this brings us to another important aspect of Chinese embroidery, the materials themselves. They played a significant role in both the aesthetic and the symbolic value of the finished piece.
Okay, so we've got the techniques, the styles. Let's talk about those luxurious materials. What were some of the key elements that brought these embroidered creations to life?
Well, silk, of course, was the star of the show. It was prized for its lustrous sheen, its smooth texture, and its ability to take dyes beautifully.
I can imagine those silk threads just shimmering under the candlelight, adding a whole other dimension to the embroidery.
Precisely. And depending on the region and the era, they use different types of silk. For instance, Suzhou embroidery often employed a very fine silk thread known as guangxian, known for its strength and delicate sheen.
It's amazing how much attention to detail went into every aspect of the craft. It makes you wonder how those silkworms must felt, knowing that their creations were destined for such artistry. That's a fun thought. But it wasn't just about the silk. The fabrics used as the base for the embroidery were equally important.
Okay, right.
Again, depending on the region and the status of the embroiderer, you might see anything from fine linen to luxurious satin.
I bet choosing the right fabric was just as crucial as selecting the perfect silk threads.
Yeah.
It's like an artist choosing their canvas.
Exactly. The fabric provides the foundation, the backdrop upon which the embroidered story unfolds.
Yeah.
Imagine the difference between a delicate floral motif embroidered on sheer silk versus a bold geometric pattern stitched onto sturdy cotton.
Oh, yeah.
The choice of fabric adds another layer of meaning and visual impact to the finished piece.
It's all starting to come together. The history, the styles, the materials, the symbolism. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, revealing more and more complexity and beauty with every layer. Haha, That's a great analogy. And it's precisely what makes exploring Chinese embroidery so fascinating. There's always more to discover, more to unravel, more to appreciate.
Well, I'm definitely ready to unravel more. But for now, we've reached a good stopping point for part one of our deep dive.
Okay.
So what can our listeners look forward to in part two?
Well, in part two, we'll delve deeper into the cultural significance of Mulan's embroidery, exploring how it reflects not only her personal journey, but also the broader societal values and beliefs of her time.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
We'll also uncover some surprising ways that those ancient traditions, continue to resonate in modern China and beyond.
Sounds fascinating. I can't wait.
Yeah, me neither. I'm really looking forward to continuing this journey with you and our listeners.
So until part two, keep those needles threaded and those minds open. We'll be back soon to stitch together the rest of this incredible story. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Chinese embroidery. We've already uncovered so much about the history, the techniques, the materials that make this art form so captivating. But there's so much more to explore, right?
Definitely. I'm excited to delve deeper into the cultural significance of Mulan's embroidery, how it reflects not only her personal journey, but also the broader societal values and beliefs of her time.
Yes. In part one, we talked about the phoenix and filial piety as these key themes in her work.
Right.
How did those themes connect to the bigger picture of Chinese culture?
Well, let's start with the phoenix. It's not just a mythical creature. It's deeply embedded in Chinese cosmology and philosophy. In ancient China, the phoenix was often associated with the empress, representing feminine power, grace, and virtue. They believed that it brought good fortune and harmony to the empire.
So by incorporating the phoenix into her embroidery, Mulan's subtly aligning herself with these powerful feminine ideals. And this is at a time when, women were expected to conform to very traditional roles, right?
Exactly. Mulan's choice to embroider the phoenix becomes like an act of defiance. It's a way of expressing her inner strength and challenging societal expectations. It's like she's saying, I may be disguised as a man, but I carry the spirit of the phoenix within me.
Ooh, that's such a powerful interpretation. It adds a whole new layer of meaning to her embroidery. And it makes me think about how art can be like this form of silent protest, a way to subvert expectations and express ideas that might otherwise be silenced.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the individual symbols themselves. It's also about the act of embroidery itself. In ancient China, embroidery was often seen as a woman's art. It's a domestic skill passed down through generations. But Mulan, by taking this traditionally feminine art form and using it to tell her story of bravery and adventure, she challenges those gender boundaries.
It's like she's taking something that was meant to confine her and turning it into a tool for liberation and self-expression.
It's
Exactly. It's so inspiring.
It is. And let's not forget about filial piety. This concept goes beyond just respecting your parents. It's about understanding your place within the family lineage and upholding the values and traditions of your ancestors.
It sounds like this deep sense of responsibility and interconnectedness, very different from the individualism that's so often emphasized in Western cultures.
That's a great observation. And it's a key difference between these cultural perspectives. In Chinese culture, filial piety is seen as the foundation of a harmonious society. By honoring your parents and ancestors, you're essentially upholding the moral fabric of the community.
So when Mulan embroiders symbols of filial piety into her work, she's not just expressing her personal devotion to her family.
Right.
She's also affirming her commitment to these broader societal values.
Precisely. And this is what makes her story so relatable, even centuries later. It speaks to this universal human desire to belong, to honor our roots, and to find our place within a larger narrative.
It's fascinating how these ancient themes of feminine power, filial piety, and cultural identity are so beautifully interwoven into the fabric of Mulan's embroidery. And it makes me wonder, how have these traditions evolved over time? Are they still relevant in modern China?
That's a great question. While some aspects of traditional Chinese culture have certainly changed with modernization, the core values embedded in embroidery, like respect for elders and the importance of family, they still resonate deeply in contemporary Chinese society.
So it's not just a relic of the past, it's a living tradition that continues to shape people's lives today.
Absolutely. And in fact, there's been a resurgence of interest in traditional Chinese embroidery in recent years. People are recognizing its artistic value, its cultural significance, and its potential as this form of self-expression.
I love that. It's like these ancient threads are being woven into the fabric of the present, connecting generations through this shared heritage.
Exactly. And it's not just happening in China. Chinese embroidery has gained international recognition. Exhibitions showcasing its exquisite craftsmanship and intricate designs are being held in museums and galleries worldwide.
It's amazing how something that was once considered a domestic craft has now become this celebrated art form on the global stage.
It is. And it speaks to the power of art to transcend cultural boundaries and connect people across time and space.
Speaking of connecting across time, our sources mention a specific example of ancient Chinese embroidery that has endured for millennia,
Yeah.
the Mandarin Square. What can you tell us about this intriguing artifact?
Ugh, the Mandarin Square. It's a true testament to the skill and artistry of ancient Chinese embroiderers. Just imagine this. It's a square piece of silk, meticulously embroidered with these intricate designs. And get this, it dates back to the Han Dynasty, which ruled China over 2,000 years ago.
2,000 years? That's mind-boggling. What kind of designs are featured on the Mandarin Square?
The designs are absolutely mesmerizing. You'll find these intricate depictions of mythical creatures like dragons and phoenixes, symbolizing power and good fortune. There are also these delicate floral motifs and geometric patterns, and they showcase the incredible precision and attention to detail of the embroiders.
It's like holding a piece of history in your hands, this tangible link to a bygone era. And it makes me wonder, how has this ancient artifact managed to survive for so long?
It's really a testament to the quality of the materials used and the skill of the embroiderers, but it also speaks to the reverence that Chinese culture has for its heritage. These objects were treasured and preserved, passed down through generations as priceless heirlooms.
It's a beautiful reminder that even the most delicate creations can withstand the test of time when they're imbued with meaning and care.
Absolutely. And the Mandarin Square is just one example of the many ancient Chinese embroideries that have been preserved in museums and private collections around the world. Each piece offers this glimpse into the rich history and artistry of this incredible art form.
It's like stepping back in time and witnessing the creativity and skill of those who came before us. And it makes me appreciate even more the legacy that Mulan's embroidery is a part of.
Absolutely. Mulan's story, interwoven with the artistry of embroidery, reminds us that even seemingly ordinary acts of creation can have this profound impact, both on our own lives and on the world around us.
It's a powerful message, especially in a world that often prioritizes speed and efficiency over craftsmanship and artistry. Mulan's story encourages us to slow down, to appreciate the process of creation and to find meaning in the details.
And to recognize that our own creative expressions, whether it's, through embroidery, writing, music, or any other form, they have the potential to connect us to something larger than ourselves, to bridge cultural divides, and to leave a lasting legacy.
It's amazing to think that a simple needle and thread can hold so much power.
It truly is. And it's a power that's available to all of us, regardless of our background or skill level. All it takes is a willingness to explore, to experiment, and to tell our stories through the language of creation.
Well said. And that brings us to the end of part 2 of our deep dive into the world of Chinese embroidery. What can our listeners look forward to in part 3?
Well, in part 3, we're going to shift our focus to the enduring impact of Mulan's story and how it continues to inspire artists and individuals today. We'll explore how her legacy of courage, creativity, and cultural pride resonates in modern China and beyond.
Seems fascinating. I can't wait to dive back in.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to wrapping up this journey with you and our listeners.
So until part 3, keep those creative sparks flying. We'll be back soon to stitch together the final chapter of this incredible story. Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive into Chinese embroidery. We've journeyed through centuries of history, explored these intricate techniques, uncovered, hidden symbolism. But the thread of our story, well, it doesn't end there, right? We still got to see how Mulan's legacy continues to weave its way through time, inspiring artists and individuals even today.
It's really remarkable how a story from ancient China still resonates so strongly in the modern world. Mulan's journey of, courage, creativity, and defying expectations, it continues to inspire people across cultures and generations.
Yeah, it's like her story is stitched into our collective consciousness, reminding us that we all have the potential to break barriers and make a difference. What are some like specific examples of how Mulan's legacy is being carried forward?
Well, one of the most obvious examples is the continued popularity of her story in various forms of media. From Disney's animated film to live action adaptations and countless stage productions. Mulan's tale continues to captivate audiences worldwide.
Yeah, it's true. I remember seeing the Disney movie as a kid and being completely like mesmerized by her courage and determination. It's a story that stays with you.
It does. And it's not just about entertainment. Mulan's story has also inspired countless artists to explore themes of female empowerment, cultural identity, and the power of art to challenge societal norms.
Mm.
You'll find her image and story woven into contemporary embroidery, paintings, sculptures, and even fashion designs.
It's like her spirit is being reinterpreted and reimagined through these modern artistic expressions. It's a testament to the enduring power of her story to inspire creativity and spark conversations about these important social issues.
Right, and it's not just about visual art.
Yeah.
Mulan's story has also found its way into literature, music, and even academic research. Scholars are examining her tale through the lenses of gender studies, cultural history, and literary analysis, uncovering new layers of meaning and relevance.
It's fascinating how a story that originated centuries ago can still provide such rich material for exploration and discussion. It's a reminder that the best stories are the ones that continue to evolve and resonate with each new generation.
Absolutely, and it's important to note that Mulan's legacy is particularly significant in modern China,
Mhm.
as the country undergoes this rapid modernization and grapples with its evolving identity. Mulan's story serves as this powerful reminder of the strength and resilience of Chinese culture.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. In a world that's constantly changing, it's comforting to have these enduring stories that connect us to our roots and remind us of who we are.
Exactly, and Mulan's story is particularly resonant for women in China today. She embodies this spirit of independence, determination, and the courage to challenge traditional gender roles. She's a role model for women who are breaking barriers in various fields, from business and science to politics and the arts.
It's inspiring to think about how her story is empowering women to embrace their full potential and pursue their dreams regardless of societal expectations.
And it's not just about individual empowerment. Mulan's story also highlights the importance of cultural preservation
Yeah.
and the passing down of traditions from one generation to the next. Her
Yeah.
her skill in embroidery, this traditional art form, is a testament to the value of preserving these cultural practices.
Right. It's a reminder that our heritage is something to be cherished and nurtured, not just for its beauty, but for the values and wisdom it carries. It's like those threads of tradition connect us to the past and provide a foundation for the future.
Beautifully said. And this brings us back to the heart of our deep dive.
Yeah.
The power of embroidery as a medium for storytelling, cultural expression, and personal connection. Mulan's story exemplifies this power, showing us how a simple needle and thread can weave together history, identity, and even social change.
It's been an incredible journey exploring the world of Chinese embroidery through the lens of Mulan's legacy. What's the key takeaway you hope our listeners will hold on to?
I hope they'll remember that embroidery is more than just a craft. It's a language, an art form, a window into history, and this powerful tool for self-expression. And like Mulan, we all have stories to tell, threads to weave,
Hmm.
legacies to create.
That's a beautiful sentiment. So as we reach the end of our deep dive, what final thought would you like to leave our listeners with?
I'd encourage them to think about their own, needles and threads, those passion, skills, and creative outlets that allow them to express themselves and make their mark on the world. What stories are they stitching into the fabric of their lives? What legacies will they leave behind?
That's a wonderful challenge. So, dear listener, as you go about your day, think about the threads you're weaving. Maybe it's through writing, painting, cooking, building, or simply through the way you interact with others. Whatever your needle and thread may be, use it to create something beautiful, meaningful, and uniquely you. And who knows, maybe someday your story will inspire others just as Mulan's continues to inspire us today. Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive.